Here's my ultimate look at blend modes here inside of Photoshop Elements. Hi, I'm George, and in this video we'll be taking a careful look at each one of the different blend modes, and I'll explain how all of these work. Now, the way I normally work with blend modes is I don't go into any great detail on these things. I'll just choose something that I'm thinking might work, like this. I'll then go to the blend mode, go up here to the top, and if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, once you choose the blend mode drop down like that, you can then just scroll through by rolling the wheel on your mouse. If you don't have a mouse, you can come down, just do this, just go down one at a time. And I'll just quickly go through and take a look and see what each one does on the particular image. Sometimes I find something that's surprising in here, sometimes I don't. It depends upon the image. Right now I'm just blending a color layer into a solid layer right down here. Now the way blend modes work, and this is just in general, it takes your top layer here, whatever your selected layer is, your blend mode is applied onto this layer. It then blends this layer into the layers underneath, depending upon how the particular blend mode works. So different blend modes have different ways of behaving. Normal doesn't do anything, no blend at all. Dissolve does a bit of a blend, but oftentimes you won't see anything in here. If you do, it may just be kind of a speckly appearance, so I rarely use the dissolve effect. This section in here, as you can see from where it says darken and darker color, this section tends to darken your image down. The next section, you can see here, lighten and lighter color, this tends to lighten your image up. The section down through here, these are specialty filters that are often combining something from in here with something from in here. Difference and exclusion, again, specialty filters that are comparing the two layers. And then the bottom section is working on just one aspect of each layer. Okay, going back up here to our top, we look at our darken section first. In Darken, what Photoshop Elements does is it looks at the two layers and then chooses the darker part of the two layers. Oftentimes, you won't see anything in this. If you have a color like this is kind of a mid-tone color, and it's going to be choosing the darker of the two mid-tones. So anything that's darker in this image will be showing up here, will be enriched by that darker of those colors. You can think of this as a mode that is colorizing and also keeping rich colors when it's doing that colorization. Now, if I do something different here, let's come down here to this layer. This is just a duplicate of that layer, same thing. And if I choose this layer, let's look at darken on this. And notice you don't see any difference in here. That's because the layers are the same, so it can't darken anything. It's not seeing anything darker in there to darken it from. If I had a white layer above this, we'll go ahead, we'll make one of those. Let's go up here to layer, come down to new fill layer, solid color, and I'll choose white. There we go. Now if I take the white layer, make this darken, notice how everything in the bottom layer is darker than the top layer. So everything from the bottom layer is showing on the white layer. If I change the fill up here and made this black instead, now everything on this layer is showing and nothing from this layer because everything in here is darker than what's in here. So this can be used to exaggerate colors in a particular area. If I wanted to put a midtone in here, let's just go for midtone gray, and you'll see here anything that's lighter than this gray is not being shown. So anything that's white is just kind of getting blocked out, and we're seeing a midtone gray in there. It's still multiplying the images, but it's blocking out the lighter colors, but the darker colors are coming in as they're seen in the image down here. So it's combining your colors basically by darkening things down. Now this is a good filter, as you can see up here, when you want to colorize something. The darker color works almost exactly the same, but as you can see here, it blocks everything up. Whereas the darken is blending your colors in together. It blends the whole thing, but it's giving emphasis to the dark colors. The darker color is only showing the darker colors through. Anything that's lighter, you're only seeing the top layers. There's no blending going on. It's one or the other. Multiply takes both layers and multiplies those together. So it tends to enrichen images. You get a richer or darker image. This is often useful if you want to darken something down. You want to bring back in some color. You have a faded photograph. It's very good at doing that. Let's just hide this one. I'll come down to this background layer. Let's change this down to multiply. And you'll see how it's now made the colors stronger and darker at the same time. Using the same image just on top of itself, and it's combining the two and multiplying the effect so it tends to darken down and enrichen colors. Again, very useful if you're working with a faded photograph. Just do 2 copies, even 3 copies of the same image and multiply those together, and you get a richer image and it can fill in those darker areas. Notice it is having an effect on the light area in here. If you look at the shirt, you are getting some darkening down in there as well, but most of the darkening is in the darker areas, like the telephone pole over here, wherever this thing is. The next option under Multiply is Color Burn, and you can consider this one as being an exaggerated version of the Multiply. It's doing basically the same thing, but it's really pushing it to an extreme. So you get real extreme effects in here, like that. So we're darkening everything down. The dark areas are a lot darker. The lighter areas are not that much darker, but they're still enriched, but it really pushes the darks in the image. Look at the sky. It's a bit enriched. It's kind of nice for the sky, but it's really pushing the darks. Again, very useful if you're trying to add back in some saturation into a photograph that's faded and you're losing your darks. This is a good one to try to really punch in those darks. But again, as you can see, it's a very strong effect. Now, since it's a multiplying effect, if I go up here with the color layer, we're not seeing any difference between multiply and color burn because it's all working from one solid flat color. It's not having any real difference in there. So you'll see that frequently. Depending upon what is contained in your overlaying layer, you may see little or no difference between these different filters. Okay, switch back down here to this layer right here. The next option here is linear burn. And this is very similar to color burn, but this also works more on the lighter aspects of your image as well. So it darkens everything down. There we go, you can see that. So the darks look about the same, but it also brings down the lighter parts. So here's our color burn, and then here is the linear burn, and it's darkening the whole image down and not just really focusing on the darker parts of the image. So it's a broader range, but a little more subtle effect. Just hide that, and we'll switch up here to our color layer. Here's color burn and linear burn. Again, since I'm working from just one solid color up here, you're not seeing any difference between these two because they don't have anything really to work with. Here are two shots of the same image in here. I'm just going to drag these both over into our working file. Like that, I'll put the light one on top. That's where I can come in and use the different darken modes in here. So here is darken. It's also darkening down the light over there a bit, and we're losing some contrast. There's multiply. There's color burn. I'm really getting darkening on the dark parts of the image. Here's linear burn, and then finally darker color. Let's go here to normal, and then darker color, right like that. So I can use this to come in and try to correct exposures if I have several different exposure levels. Now, of course, it's going to require some additional work in here, changing your contrast and so forth. This isn't the final result. This is just one step in a process when you're doing photo retouching. But it does help you with your combining of images. Okay, let's just move on now to our next section. I'll bring this image back again. These are the lightening blend modes, kind of the opposite of these darkening blend modes up here. So lighten lightens up the image, and darken darkens your image. Now with the lighten, you're not going to be seeing any real difference in here because it's the same image and there's no difference in lightness. If I put in a color layer instead and change this to lighten, you'll see now that the whole image is lightened up. Come down to our screen mode, and notice we're not seeing any difference in here from lighten to screen mode. And that's because both of these are lightening the image based upon our top layer or the values in the top layer, and those values haven't changed because it's a solid layer. Let's just hide that when I'll come down to this layer here, and you'll see a difference this time because it's not working with a solid layer of color. We have something to actually work with here. It's combining the colors together into a lighter image. So multiply will darken your overall image down, and screen will lighten the overall image up. So they're opposites of each other. And depending upon what your image needs, one or the other may be a good way to handle overexposed or underexposed images. The next option up here is color dodge. And just like color burn, it's going to be accentuating the colors. In color burn, it was accentuating the dark colors and leaving the light colors basically alone. Color dodge is the opposite. It's going to be accentuating the lightness and leaving the dark areas alone. Let's see how that works. Here's our color dodge. So we get a more contrasty image, but if you look at the pole over here, this has stayed exactly the same. And the lighter parts of the image are pushed. The lighter the color, the more it's pushed. So you get a real high contrast, real bright coloration in here. If I change this here to color burn, it's the exact opposite. It's leaving the lights relatively untouched, although it's a bit more of a move than we saw in the color lighten, but it's really pushing the dark parts of the image. So depending upon which part of your image you want to boost, one or the others of these will work out for you. Either color burn for darkening down your colors or color dodge for lightening up the lighter parts of your image. And again, as you can see here, results in a very contrasty effect. Sometimes these can be used for special effects. Sometimes you may want to use this in just certain areas. The next blend mode here is the linear dodge add. And this works the same way but opposite from the linear burn. With linear burn, we had first the color burn, which darkens down the dark parts of the image, and then linear burn darkens down the whole image. You see that difference in there in the light side. Linear burn is darkening the light side. Color burn doesn't as much. Same thing down here with the color dodge. That is lightening up the light parts of the image and not so much the dark parts. And linear dodge add also lightens up the dark parts of your image. So you can think of this as being just more of what you're getting with color dodge. The final one of our lightning section down here is the lighter color. Now you won't see anything if the images are the same. What this one does is it shows the lighter colors from your bottom layer up through into your top layer. So let me just change this to normal. We'll bring up here the magenta layer again. I have this set for a lighter color. The magenta is showing through on all the darker parts of the image, but all the lighter parts from the background image down here is showing through the magenta. So it's showing just the lighter parts and not changing the darker parts. Okay, let's now move down into our next section. And this tends to combine the effects from these sets in different ways. We'll start off here with the overlay. Now what this does is it darkens the darks and lightens the lights. So it's like combining these two together into one, and that tends to increase your contrast. Your darks are darker, your lights are lighter. You're going to be getting a more contrasty image if you're combining two of these together. Now this will also work with other options up here. Let's just hide that one, come back up here to our color layer, set this one to overlay, and we get a contrasty but colorized image out of that. Same thing, it's showing through our overall color, blending the colors together. So we get the color in here, and then it lightens the lights and darkens the darks, giving us this really interesting high contrast colorized effect. But it's a very good blend mode to use if you need to just add in more contrast to an image, kind of a low contrast image. Use two or more layers and then apply the overlay to those layers. You can, of course, increase your contrast with other methods like using an adjustment layer, but this is one approach to doing that. The soft light blend mode is kind of like combining your screen and your multiply together, and it has a similar effect to overlay, but not as contrasty. So here's the overlay, more contrasty, and here is soft light, less contrasty. You find that I use soft light for a lot of my special effects work in the projects that I do here on YouTube. It's a really useful one. I'll bounce around between the multiply, screen, linear dodge, and soft light as my most used blend modes, with occasionally tossing in the overlay as well. So those are kind of the main ones that I'll use that I find very useful for a lot of the projects work. Next up, we have hard light. This is kind of the opposite of soft light. Now, depending upon the images that you're working with, you may not see a difference between the overlay and the hard light. If I'm comparing two images that are exactly the same, like we are right here, you won't see any difference. Let's go back up here to our two different exposures. Light one is on top, and let's change this to hard light. And you see that we get a much stronger, more contrasty effect with this. It's darkening out the darks. The lights are staying about the same. If I compare this to the overlay, kind of hard to see here, but if you look over here, over around the windows, and I change this, here's the overlay, here's the hard light. See, the hard light is a bit lighter in this area here, so it's actually increasing the contrast on both sides, the dark and the light side, more than the regular overlay will. Again, depending upon the image, it may be a very subtle difference or maybe a very stark, dramatic difference. When you're working with two layers of the same content like we have down here, hard light and overlay basically look the same. If you want to get something that's a bit more dramatic, you can get that, and that is the vivid light. And this brings in a much more contrasty effect. So we're actually getting even more here than overlay by going down to the vivid option down below. Very contrasty, kind of like combining the color burn and the color dodge together to get a much more contrasty image. Just like with the linear burn and linear dodge being slightly different than the color burn and color dodge, just a little bit more exaggerated. The same thing happens down here with the linear light. It's like a little different way of approaching the vivid light. So these are subtly different, and the one you choose will depend upon what your particular project is. Let's go here and do a linear light. You see a little difference right down here in the water area, but not much. Very, very subtle difference. There's the vivid, and then here's the linear. Just a slight difference. The next blend mode down here, pin light, requires differences in the values in your image to see anything. So we're not seeing any difference here because, of course, these are the same image. If I switch up here, I'll pull this down underneath this layer here. Now if I have pin light applied to this one, there are differences between this and the layer underneath. So we're now seeing some coloration differences in there with that pin light effect. So once again, it depends upon what layers you're looking at and their order, whether or not an effect is even going to be visible. In this case, the pin light gives you this kind of a high contrasty colorized effect. If your solid color layer is underneath this layer, it doesn't work in the opposite direction. The last of our combined modes down here is the hard mix, and this creates a posterization effect, blending the two layers together in a very limited color palette way. Again, interesting kind of posterization quality with this one. All of these things will work with other images as well. Let's set this one at normal. Go up here to this top layer. I'll do this one as a hard mix. And you see we're now getting a blending of those two layers, both imagery in here, with that posterization quality effect. So sometimes they have some interesting creative uses on these things. Okay, we're now moving down into the next section. Down here we have the difference and the exclusion. Difference shows you the difference between two layers. If there's no difference, it's going to show as black. If there were differences, we see the difference as a lighter color. Let's just change this back here to normal. I'll come back to the top layer, change this one to difference, and you see we're now seeing the differences in here as a negative. For instance, her pants down here, this is normal color. Her hand is normal color in here. But the top area, wherever there are differences in values, that's coming in as a negative area. So we're seeing a positive in some areas, negative in other areas, based upon the values in those particular ranges. This one also can work with a color layer. Again, what we're getting is an odd kind of color negative effect with this one. Okay, let's come down here to the exclusion. And this works in a similar way to the difference, but not as strong of an effect. So where difference gave us just pure black, we're actually seeing something through with the exclusion. Notice how some of the area up here is correct color, and some of the area is a negative color value on that. Set this up here to normal, and go up here to our magenta layer. Let's set this at exclusion. You notice there's almost no difference in there because we're working from a solid color layer as opposed to a layer that has other values in it. Our next and last four options down here, these do not work on an image comparing it or blending with the same image. That's because they are the same image. So you won't see any effect on that with these last options. This will change your hue based upon hue differences, saturation, color, and luminosity. So I can adjust those with a solid color. So up here, I'll change this to hue. So what I'm seeing now is kind of like a black and white image that's been colorized with this magenta color. Midtones change the most. Light things tend to be closer to their original color, like the white clouds back in here are very close to white. The dark areas are very close to their original colors, and your midtones have the most change in them. Here is saturation. Now this has gotten very saturated because it's applying the saturation levels from this layer to the layer underneath. A full color layer like this is full saturation. So it's making the layer underneath full saturation. That's why we're getting that kind of real saturated effect. Color changes the overall color. As you can see here, everything, lights, darks, everything is being tinted now with this color. So it's a way of tinting an image, kind of getting a duotone effect in there. And then luminosity, as you can see, adjusts the values based upon the luminosity difference between the images. There's very little luminosity difference in this picture right here, so we're not seeing that much of a change based upon the color layer up here. If you want a written description of all of this stuff, I do have that. It's in the HTG Photo Coach. Just look for blend modes list and you'll find that. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.